Today we're going to talk about 3 ways you can prevent the coronavirus. Obviously, you can't stop fate, right? We know that the Lord's in control of all things. However, if you are a little bit freaked out about the coronavirus or any other virus, right, any other infection, these are 3 simple ways you can prepare yourself and your family for any sick season. All right, the first one is to get your body temperature up. New research has come out in January showing that the average body temperature is now 97.6, not 98.6. And the researchers are theorizing that that's for, a number of different reasons. But I will tell you, when body temperature is depressed, your metabolism is slightly depressed. When body temperature is depressed, you're not able to fight off infection the way that you would if your body temperature was normal. You could have some subclinical hypothyroidism going on. And if that's the case, get your thyroid tested. Hi, Shelly. Good morning. Get your thyroid tested, get your get your T3, your free T3 and your free T4 tested so you know what your thyroid's doing. If you've got depressed thyroid function and your body temperature is low all the time, good morning, Lacey, then get in and make sure that you're on some sort of synthetic or natural hormone, thyroid hormone replacement so you can get your body temperature up. A healthy body temperature is going to be more aptly able to fight off any infection like a virus, right? So that's number one. I'm going to post links to everything I'm talking about today so you guys can verify what I'm saying. So you can do a little bit more research on your own. And so you can be fully informed about some of the things that are going on. Anywhere I'm at this week, everyone's talking about the coronavirus and Kobe. Of course, I'm at Bible study. I'm like doing a new segment this morning, and everyone is a little bit worried about, something that is a little bit beyond our control. We can't necessarily, see that we could get a deadly virus in the future, but you can, again, take steps to make sure that you're protecting yourself and your family. And this isn't just for the coronavirus, it's for any sick season at all. These are very wise things to do, again, for yourself and your family. All right, so number one is check your body temperature. If you are not around 98.6 degrees, then do things throughout the day. Morning, Tanya. Do things throughout the day to make sure you're getting your body temperature up as well. If your thyroid seems to be functioning fine, or if you can't get into the labs to get your labs tested, or if your doctor won't put you on Armour or a natural desiccated thyroid, then you can do other things to get your body temperature up. The first one is exercise, right? If you don't love to exercise, then just go for a walk your dog throughout the day and put on layers so that you're actually sweating. It's important to get your body temperature up. You can get in a jacuzzi. You can get in a nice hot bath. My favorite is an Epsom salt bath. You do 2 cups of Epsom salts, 2 cups of baking soda, and essential oils of your choice. Try to stay in that bath for at least 30 minutes or until you're sweating. Get that body temperature up. All right, do that 1 or 2 times a day. If you're sick, it feels amazing. If you're in preventative mode, it also feels amazing, and you feel less crappy because you're not sick, right? All right. You can also get in an infrared sauna, a far infrared sauna, a near infrared sauna. Those are fine. Just a regular sauna. If your gym has a sauna, or some people have saunas in their homes, other people have offered, for maybe you to come over and use their sauna. Take advantage of that. Get your body temperature up. We tend to live in very isolated environments from a climate perspective. We're pretty much at about, 68 to 72 degrees most of the day. So your body doesn't do a lot of work to increase its own metabolism and its own temperature. So you have to put in a little bit of extra effort to get that body temperature up. All right, so that's step number 1. Step number 2 is optimize your vitamin D. This is, again, something you can test through your GP, your OBGYN. Any doctor will test your vitamin D levels. It's a very simple blood test. It costs about $30 to do. Insurance will generally cover it. I'm going to post a link to a blog post by Jeff Bowles, who's done a lot of research on vitamin D and shows in this article how incidences of every chronic illness tends to increase the further away you get from the equator. And so his conclusion is that vitamin D, what we get from the sun, is very effective for reducing incidence of diseases. Now, he in the article states everything from, cancer to autism to, chronic illnesses like Crohn's and celiac and Hashimoto. Hey, Miranda. Good morning. But, you can look at this article and see the correlation between making sure your vitamin D levels are optimal and the strength of your immune system. When vitamin D levels are suboptimal, be it regular immune issues or autoimmune issues, you're going to suffer more often than those who have optimal vitamin D levels. Now, normal vitamin D is anywhere around 30 nanograms per deciliter, but really we like to see them in the 60 to 80 range, so that especially if you suffer from any sort of immune issues, again, be it autoimmune or just regular immune issues where you've got, you're constantly getting viruses or colds. Good morning, Larissa. Hi, Maria. Good morning, guys. Thanks for joining. So we're just talking about 3 ways you can prevent the coronavirus, all right? The first one, just to recap, is to get your body temperature up through thyroid hormone optimization, through working out, through exercise, through being outside, through getting in saunas and baths, just making sure that you can get it back up to around 98.6 where it ought to be to fight off illness. The second one is to make sure your vitamin D levels are sufficient. Now, if you are going to dose with vitamin D, and you're going to use large doses of vitamin D, please don't do that all willy-nilly. Make sure that you've got vitamin K, K2 with your vitamin D. So if you're taking anything over 10,000 IUs of vitamin D a day, make sure it has vitamin K attached to it. Otherwise, you're going to be pulling calcium out of your bones and putting it into your tissue. We do not want calcified tissue, right? We want calcified bones. So again, make sure if you're using high doses of vitamin D that it's got vitamin K2 attached to it. Also, do not dose vitamin D in high doses without making sure you know your levels. And then after that, make sure you get your vitamin D levels tested about every 3 months or so. Then you can, titrate accordingly. All right. The third thing you can do to prevent the coronavirus, or God forbid, treat it if you have it. Obviously, get to a doctor if you have it. But hey, Krista, something else you can do is take mega doses of vitamin C. Now, you guys have heard me talk about vitamin C ad nauseum. It's because I love it, and it's because it's very effective. It is a very powerful antiviral. It's a very powerful antibacterial agent as well. Vitamin C has been tested in the literature since the 1800s against everything from polio to AIDS to the common cold. Now I'm gonna link to Dr. Andrew Saul, who is my vitamin C guru. Hi, Anna. Good morning. And you can experiment and read through his literature as much as you want to. It's pretty fascinating. But the first thing I do for my family and myself, at the sign of any virus or cold, is to start megadosing vitamin C. For my clients who don't know they've got some sort of idiopathic illness or an illness without a cause or a reason, we will do vitamin C just because, it's not the best thing just to take antibiotics if you've got a virus. Now, if you've got a true virus, of course, again, a caveat, please, if you have like a real illness, get yourself to the ER or to a doctor. But for preventative, healthcare and for regular viruses, and again, as Andrew Saul does say in this article, for even, these mega viruses, I would definitely have a large stock of vitamin C at your disposal. I love just the Trader Joe's brand of vitamin C. It's $13.99 for 250 pills. The way you take vitamin C is to bowel tolerance. When your body's had enough vitamin C, it will tell you, because you might get disaster pants. So make sure that you're staying, obviously if you're ill, you're going to be at your house. Don't go outside. Don't go infect everyone else. If you're sick, please stay home. But if you're at home, then you start taking vitamin C, 2 to 3 grams of vitamin C every 30 minutes to bowel tolerance. Vitamin C will pull water into the bowels, and so you can experience diarrhea when you've had a sufficient amount of vitamin C, and that's the goal. So at that point, you'll back off a little bit, but you have to still take the vitamin C because it works to continue to consume that virus or bacteria. And so you need to keep your levels of vitamin C up until 3 days after you feel better again. Since the ramifications of taking too much vitamin C can be quite uncomfortable, a lot of people will pull off, after they experience that first bowel event. I would encourage you to continue taking your vitamin C because you really do need it. That's safe for you. It's safe for your husbands. It's safe for children. Children would drop down to 1 to 2 grams of vitamin C every 30 minutes. You can get that in a powder if your kids can't take the big vitamin C capsules. It will, it'll hurt your teeth after a while. So make your vitamin C drink with water and drink it through a straw. All right, so those are 3 ways that, from an alternative healthcare perspective, you can prevent the coronavirus. Again, my caveat is if you're just tuning in or if you're only watching a little bit of this, if you have an illness, get to the doctor. All right. I'm not saying this is going to, this is in lieu of getting to a doctor, but I am saying that you can at least be prepared for not only this sick season, but next sick season and the season after that, because there's always going to be something. If we're living in a state of constant, impaired immunity where, our body temperatures are low, our thyroid function's not optimal, we're eating super crappy processed foods diets and never getting any phytochemicals or phytonutrients, we're not getting sufficient vitamin D or sunlight, not sufficient exercise, like your body is kind of ripe for an illness to attack it, right? Not to scare us all, but really it's just a galvanization to take better care of your body, right? Get your protein in 3 meals a day. Eat as many fruits and vegetables as you possibly can. If that affects your digestion and you start feeling like you're bloated all of the time, that means that you have work to do on your digestion, which most people do. Investigate your hydrochloric acid levels. Make sure that you're not on proton pump inhibitors if you don't need to be. Most people don't have enough stomach acid. It's not that they have too much stomach acid. So really take control of your own health. Dive a little bit deeper and, use food as medicine. Use exercise as medicine, right? Use baths and saunas and vitamin D as medicine. Those are preventative ways for you to create a body, that's relatively healthy so that you can at least buffer some of the attacks that inevitably will come at us as humans who live in a fallen and sinful world, right? This gives you a little bit of an arsenal that you can combat for yourself and your family, hey Sarah, against, these kind of scary things that happen in our world. So hopefully you guys are doing well. Thank you for joining in today. Pass this along to anyone you think could benefit from it. Again, on this thread, I will be posting everything I talked about today, all of the articles and the studies and the blog posts that I referenced so that you guys can do a little bit more digging on your own. Have a great day. Bye.